Good afternoon, sir.
Santosh, long time we have not
Yes, sir.
been together. Okay, it's nice to
Yes,
see you online now. So I just thought we'll have some discussion. So
sure, sir.
maybe you can throw questions or I can throw questions and then we can see and how we can exchange knowledge. That would be the topic. Yeah, tell me.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about, asking you about this ALP, Akshaya Lagna
Okay.
Padati. So I want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
know
yeah,
more.
yeah. Yeah. That's a very interesting way to look at chart reading. Okay,
Okay.
so generally, as you also have learned, generally what we do is we go through the dasa bhuktis. Okay, we see the dasa bhuktis and then we go about. So when we see the dasa bhuktis, we are only addressing the dasa bhuktis are based on the moon sign.
Correct.
Okay, so we say which Rasi is the moon was, and we say from that is what you are supposing your moon was in Kirtigai Nakshatra. Okay, so if it is in Kirtigai, then your first dasa will be Sun dasa.
Okay.
Okay, predominantly it means from the moon we are seeing the dasa. So
Okay.
basically, moon relates to our mental status, mind.
Right.
So the entire dasa bhukti is talking about this mental status. Okay. It is based on this, how mentally we are going to be. Okay.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why we are all scared about uh, Elranat Shani or Sadesati. Okay. 7.5 years Saturn. That is also because the Saturn crosses the moon. Wherever the moon is, that's 2.5 years before that, 7.5 before that house, wherever the moon, natal moon is there. 2.5 years when it is crossing the natal moon, 2.5 years after crossing that 7.5 years is what is called as the thing. So again, we're talking about moon. We are not addressing the physical thing. Okay, so we also have a very important point in the chart which is called as Lagna. But most of the people don't even bother about looking into the Lagna. They only talk about Rasi, which is indicated to the more attached to the moon.
Okay.
Okay. In ALP, what is so it basically very when you read the ALP, it is Akshaya Lagna Padati. So Akshaya means is growth. Lagna is Lagna. Padati is the methodology or a rule set of rules and regulation methodology. So that is how it is. So this was invented this concept was invented by Pududumurti. Probably it is more of a progression kind of a lagna getting moved every age that as we cross. Okay, the concept is moon moves, the lagna also moves along with it. Dasabhukti moves, so the lagna also moves along with it. Why lagna has to move? Because from the time we are born, we physically change a lot. Okay, so first
Correct.
we are into we can't even speak. We know is cry. Sometimes you only know how to breathe. Nothing else more you can do. So rest of things are taken care by the mother and father and whoever they. Then they take care of. Then you grow. Then at certain stage you start speaking. At certain stage a certain organ gets developed. Certain stage you start walking. All these things are physical changes. This is not indicated by the mental mode because mentally we can grow. Even at the third standard, 3 years old kid can talk something so intellectual that physically it might not even match. That is Dasa Bhakti. So when Lagna also moves, then you know how the Lagna is progressing through your life. So we compare, actually we compare both Lagna as well as the moon so that we arrive at a precise
Okay.
reading.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the concept in that is basically uh, the calculation, basically. Okay, the calculation portion of it when you talk about. So they take the whole 360 degrees in our planetaries, into the Earth's circumferences, that is 360 degrees. So, but this 360 degree is divided to the 12 houses that are there. Okay, so when the 12 houses are there, when you divide this by 12, 360 when you divide by 12, each house will, okay, so when you talk about 30 degrees, now what we do is we take this 360 degrees, this 30 degrees, all we calculate, we take this. Then what we do is we pick up the Vimshotri Dasa. We still use the Vimshotri Dasa, okay, but Lagna also must, Vimshotri Dasa. Vimshotri Dasa is 120 years, which is said by Parasara that it is one of the best dasas for this Kali Yuga, because human lifespan happens to be 120 years, around that figure. Okay, even Krishna lived 125 years as at the end of the start of the Kali Yuga. Okay, so then what happens is when you take 120 years and you divide by the number of houses, 12 houses. Okay, 12 houses. So you get, per house you get 10 years. You're getting it? 10 years, you're getting 10. But in 10 years, what happens is we go through a lot of transformation in our life. You probably start, you are in the 5th standard, by the 10th year you're joining. So there is a huge change in that. But so what we do is, again, we have to go into something that is smaller than that. So smaller time frame. So what we do is we take the 9 planets that are there. Okay, so we divide that by the 9 planets. So you will get 1 year, 1 month, 10 days when you divide by the 1 year to 10 years. So 1 year, 1 month, 10 days when you get, that means it is 1 pada. Okay, 1 pada. 9 padas are there in 1 rasi. 1 pada will be there for 1 year, 1 month and 10 days it will be there.
Okay.
Okay, so after 1 year, 1 month and 10 days, this will go to the second pada. The Lagna will be moved to the second pada.
Okay.
Okay,
From your
so what
birth date.
happens? Sorry?
From the date, from the birth time, where the
Birthday,
Lagna.
1 year it will be in the first pada. Then the second year, when it finishes 1 year, 1 month and 10 days, it will move to the second pada.
The second pada. Okay.
So if you're 10 years old, that means 10 pada would have moved. That means Ashwini 1, if it was your first when you were born, then what will happen is this would be moved to Mrigashira third pada when you're 10 years old. Okay, so I will start reading from Mrigashira first pada as my Lagna.
Oh.
Okay, when I read from there, what happens is I start reading that as Lagna, and because it is also the Dasa Bhuktis are fitting in, my Lagna also has moved in. When I read from there, I see but I don't change any planetary position that are there in the natal. I just move the Lagna alone. It's as good as moving the Dasa Bhuktis. When I read from there, I see a much more precise, clear picture of the chart. Okay. So if I move by if I go by that, then what happens is there whatever planets are present, whichever houses are there, whichever nakshatras the Lagna is moved into, those all play a major role in the predicting the future. Okay, supposing if I have to say, say about you are talking about education, okay? I have to, whatever might be the age, I will have to see the second house from the ALP Lagna wherever it falls. In the traditional model, I will have to see the second, I will see the fourth, I will see the fifth, I will see the eighth, the ninth, depending on 11th also, depending on what kind of education he is looking for. In ALP, means we already have incorporated the movement of the Lagna. We only will go and see the second house for education. Whether the fourth house is matching, whether the fifth house is matching, whether the ninth house matching, that all is if that is researched. So apart based on this thing, we will say whether he will do a PhD, whether he will do a research or what. Even if he is doing PhD, it has to be the second house because the lifespan goes. The Lagna keeps on moving. Supposing somebody wants a job, somebody has got a query about a job. Okay, when you talk about query about a job, we'll straight go and look into the from the ALP Lagna, the 10th house. And then say whether you'll get a job or not, because other planets that are related to the nakshatra that are there will tell them. But it's like something like this. If the ALP is falling in what you call Revati nakshatra. Okay, Revati nakshatra, second pada, you think. Okay, most likely this person will buy a house or a very safe car. Okay, how it is possible? In the regular this thing you will say. You'll go and say here when it falls, you will buy a car. Okay, beautifully you can say. Yeah, similarly, if the 11th house lord is sitting in the second house somewhere, and
Okay.
then you map with the what you call nakshatras also matching, then it will land into a very profitable deal.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we will see that. Then so that will happen only for certain people in certain positions.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll find it has to match. Then we'll say,
Okay.
okay, well, this girl will do well. Okay, that way we will see. So very basically, the traditional model is still followed. There is no change in that. The Karatvam or whatever that we have learned still applies. Just the rules are a bit different, are more clearly defined here.
Okay.
Okay, if a marriage has to happen, the LP from the LP, the D9 portion of when we see, we will see the D9 has to fall on 1, 4, 7, 10, any one of these house.
Okay.
If it falls, marriage is done.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the rules are very more specific in nature. Okay.
Got it. Got it, sir.
More tested and more specific in nature. And that
So
way it gives us.
for my understanding, let's say that if the chart is, like the Lagna of a
Uh,
person is somewhere in Kritika 2,
okay.
that is in Rishabha, correct?
Rishabha,
So
Kritika.
his ALP is in 2.
Hmm.
Sorry, if his ALP is, for example, his actual Lagna is in Kritika 2, but his
Hmm.
ALP, let's say it is somewhere in Scorpio 1, Jeshta 1, Scorpio.
Hmm. Hmm.
So now I have to see for ALP calculation in the sense, then I have to see the seventh house from Scorpio to see whether about his marriage, correct?
Correct. From seventh house, from there you have to see where the marriage is. What
Okay.
is this rotation of the marriage? So because by the seventh house, it if supposing seventh from there the seventh house Ragu is sitting, then obviously you
Okay.
will say he will get married in a love marriage or some other caste or something different. Maybe she will be older to him, okay, or he will be much younger to the female if it is a male child. So like that, something different will come out.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
but
Got it.
this we cannot see so easily. I'm not saying we cannot see, but it is not so easily visible in the traditional model.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Okay, in this model, it is much more easily visible to us.
Okay. Got it, sir. Got
Yeah,
it.
so it's
Amazing.
a beautiful way of putting. There is a logic behind it. So it's very nicely framed, and I have found success in many of the cases where I have read.
Okay.
It's like magic. When you ask them, you say, go back 10 years back and say, 10 years back, did you have a loss like this? You'll say, yes. Were you doing well in this particular period between this and this? They will say, yes. Because so precise will be the information that we can dig it out from this.
Okay.
Okay, but to know this, you should know the basics very well. This is like an advanced model of the traditional astrology. See, sometime back
Correct, sir.
KP was the highlight.
Correct.
Basically, what happens is it follows the original traditional model, but there is an upgrade to that, whatever is the model that is there. It has been made much more easier to read. Good
Okay.
part about this thing is he has shared the knowledge with most of the people. He even conducts classes and gives it off. But it has to reach a larger audience. Okay, so I have been with him for last about 5, 6 years. So that's my journey with him. Okay, so when at that particular time nobody used to, it was very very new, this knowledge.
Right, sir.
Nobody was ready to. They were not believing what he was saying also. But from my point of view, I saw the logic was very clear. So we were struggling because we never used to get this clear cut results from Dasa Bhukti model. ALP
Okay.
model gave us a better reading capability. And so, but the rest of things are traditionally here to apply. And another thing, good thing about reading through this thing is when we say remedies, okay, pariyarams, it is almost to the point. That we have experienced ourselves. Okay, we have experienced ourselves. We see that to the extent that sometimes it hurts us also. When I'm reading it, it hurts me also. We go sick call. Okay, so that happens. So it is very precise. It hurts, and the results are really surprising. It's not something that we can expect. Okay, hope that gives you
Yes, sir.
insight.
Lot more clarity, a lot more clearer, and
Uh,
it also gives a very precise understanding. Because when I was looking at the normal chart, we always keep Lagna at this point and we do the chart reading. But when
yeah.
you are taking the Lagna keeps moving every time. So I think this gives a very clear picture and this gives a lot more advantage because for example, if my house is in the first house is in Aries, I
Mm.
always think 12th house will be like obviously the 12th house will be my pieces Pisces.
Mm.
But once if the Lagna is keep moving, no, now I think there are a lot more precisely I can tell because it will be
Yeah.
like
See,
only 50% or 60% I used to tell in those days. We can read it, but now I think at least it'll by 30% more, right?
See, what will happen is, see, the original natal chart remains as it is. There's no change in that. Okay,
Correct,
we'll have to read that also. There is no doubts on that. Okay,
correct,
supposing
correct,
you get a handicapped kid, okay, who born handicapped kid, so for example,
right.
okay, mentally challenged. For them all, you cannot see from the. You have to see from the natal, and then you have to see.
Okay,
It does not there this will not work out because their growth is stopped, mentally growth is stopped, physically growth is not so. So this will indicate to a certain extent saying this it is, but it will not give you the picture like for a normal person. This will give a picture, very clear precise picture for a normal person. There it won't give.
but what are
So
the other things in ALP, sir, which cannot be used? Like as you told as
mm,
you told, there are challenges when physically disabled kid, a special child, we cannot look at ALP. Who else we can't look at ALP, sir?
there's nothing called as we cannot look at ALP. Generally, what happens is we can see for everybody. Okay, so
Okay,
most of the cases wherever we have seen with the experiences, it is almost when we ask them when we say how this is how it was. Mean they will say most of the people will say. Some people will not agree to the facts that we are
okay,
saying. There are some people who will not agree to the fact. They will say no, 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 no. करके. So, but what my experience is, read what is in the chat. It turns out to be the truth. He might lie.
okay.
He might lie.
Good.
Okay, so that is see my confidence on this particular way of reading came across because I used to be in one office. Okay, in that office, the director used to have at least 10 people coming going inside his office. Most and evening times you will see the entire his cabin is full of some 10 people. Okay, and suddenly he will pick up somebody's chart and he will show me and say, "Okay, Arvind, please read this chart." Okay, I will go through, then I will say this is how it is, this is how it was, this is what it is, without knowing whose chart it is, what it is. You just give me, listen. And then you will say, sometimes I will say bad things, sometimes I will say good. Then immediately you will ask, this is the person, you tell whatever he said, right or wrong. And this person will say, yes, it was right. So that gave me a lot of confidence because that used to be a regular affair there. For me, it was like learning,
Correct.
experimenting the knowledge. And every day, being a director, every day somebody new used to come to his office. And most of the people I don't know. I will be sitting. I used to do something else, and will sit and discuss, and suddenly this will happen.
Okay.
So that gave me the confidence because before 10 people we are talking. We are not talking alone.
Correct, sir.
Okay, so that is where we pick up the knowledge, and then it got really practically. I've seen it working.
Fantastic, sir.
So that is how it is. Yeah. Tell me
Okay, sir.
anything else? Huh?
Thank you, sir. I got the input.
Good. No. So it's a wonderful thing. Okay. So rest of things applies. The rest of things, whether you talk about the good time, bad time, that everything applies here also. Ucham, nicham, all those things. But more information is put onto the nakshatras. Nakshatras is what more emphasis is given to that, and then we read. Then the result comes beautiful.